Top 12 in Europe, guys. I made it. I beat Lambo 3-1 to advance to the top 12 of Europe in the ESL Masters. Now, of course, I just want to give all the respect to Lambo. Lambo is a fantastic player. I think he's still pretty much the better player than I am. The last time that I beat Lambo was like 2023 in July, something like that, in a non-important tournament, and Lambo has been beating me a lot of the time, but we finally beat him 3-1 in a very, very important tournament, so I'm happy with this, but still much respect to Lambo. GG, well played. And in this video I want to tell you about the inside of the tournament match, how it looked like, just analyze a bit of that in the replays as well. So let's enjoy this best of 5. The first match was on Crimson Court, and the map I don't really like that much because of the freaking Ridge Vest Geyser, which Lambo took the first space on with this hatchery. I did a pro block and he took the first hatchery right there, but I knew it's going to happen. I was not too worried about because, well, that was just to be expected. I ended up going for a Adept into a Stalker to drive away the Scouting Overlord, because for this map I think going for a standard Stargate with like Link or something is quite dangerous, or at least in my own practice games I did not find that much success. So in this game I wanted to switch it up a little bit and go for a Stargate into an Archon drop, which I think is a pretty good safe build. And on this map you can also expand kind of freely on the other side of the minerals, where the Zerg has to either knock down the rocks or their own mineral patches to access the third base. So I thought this is going to go. But one thing that I actually want to show you guys immediately right here that messed me up a bit in this build is with the build that I'm going for is supposed to be, you know, 4 gateways, 4 High Templars warping at around the 50-minute mark, and then you're going for an Archon drop and try to harass the opponent. But because I messed up the first pylon positioning, or maybe not necessarily the pylon position, but the gateway positioning, it should have been 1 hex forward. I cannot actually complete the wall off with a gateway. The gateway doesn't fit here properly, or I mean, it does fit here, but it doesn't make a proper wall here. I cannot make it here as well, so I was forced to make a pylon in my wall off, which was not part of my plan here. And I will tell you in just a moment how that really messed me up, because like I said, it's going to be supposed to be a 4-gate build. So I go in with a bit of a Oracle harassment to the natural base with a hidden Oracle going to the right side of the map. I'm trying to find any kind of drone damage. 1-2 drones is already good enough because the Oracle was unspotted, so I get 2 drones. I try to go for the third one, miss kind of happens. I take a little bit of damage on the Oracle, but getting 2 drones is the absolute minimum that I want to get from the first Oracle. I get additional drone in the natural for free, that's already pretty good. Additional drone, that's total of 4 drones already with the first Oracle, and I also get the larva, which makes me a bit happy with that. But now I notice that my 4th gate is a bit late. Take a look at this. I have 2 gateways. This is supposed to be gateway number 3 and gateway number 4, while the gateway number 1 and gateway number 2 is supposed to be in the wall in. But because I messed up the wall off, my 4th gateway is a bit late, so my build is actually messed up a bit. I'm gonna delay the Archon drop, which will also delay the amount of damage that I can deal to the Zerg, and that really caught me a bit off guard, because I'm not supposed to do these kind of silly mistakes, especially in game number 1 of such an important series. So that really messed me up a bit. The Warpism is spotted immediately by the Zerg, but I also want to do a bit of a mind game, showing him the forward Adepts right now, and make him think that it's possibly like an Adept pressure, maybe an all-in with, like, I don't know, Immortals inside or whatever, like anything that can mess him up. So I'm moving out to the Adepts, but I don't really want to commit with these Adepts because I know there could be a bunch of Zerglings, so I'm trying to back off. And as of right now, as I'm setting up this Warpism, right about now I should be able to warp in 4 High Templars right now. But my 4th gateway is delayed. Right now it's just about to finish, and that delays my build by around 5 to 10 seconds. And it is a big deal, because with this build, of course, you want to start dealing damage as soon as possible. And yeah, so that's pretty bad for me, and really caught me off guard. I'm warping in the 4th High Templar. I'm going for a shield battery, and of course with this build that Lambo is going for, the forward hatchery with the Ridge Vespin guys, I'm expected to be attacked relatively early on, either with a Queen Walk, with like Roach Ravagers, or just making use of the Ridge Vespin gas. So going for this build, I can at least deal some damage without making sure that I lose any of these units. Archons are very macroable units, so I'm doing some Archon harassment in here. I get a Queen and I move forward with the Archons to the main base. In the meantime, I'm trying to macro as much as possible. +1 attack, +1 charge for the Zealots, and I try to continue micro the Archons as much as possible. Decent defense by Lambo though. I think I was not able to find that much damage, but I was not unhappy with the harassment that I did with the Archons. My third base is about to finish. I warp in some sentries for potential defense, for force fields, guarding, so maybe a push if I do find the timing, trying to clear crypt in the front with the adepts, while also harassing with the archons a bit more. I get a very good creep clear of these adepts. I even snipe some of the drones at the investment guys, or I get an overlord, macro a bit more behind the secondary robo, and there's going to be a slight mistake here. First big mistake, I would say, of this game, other than the 4 gateway. Look at it, what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to click this creep tumor that is underneath the queen. And I cannot reach this with the archons, and my observer is also moving forward. And look at this, I'm trying to get this creep tumor, the archons cannot reach, and I lose the observer here. And that is a big mistake from my part, because now, I cannot see what exactly my opponent is doing. Is there a 4th phase, infestation pit, Hydra den? I didn't see anything here. And I also cannot clear creep. Luckily, I did clear a lot of that right before that, but I don't have that confirmation. So it's a big mistake, because I'm lacking the information about what possibly my opponent is doing right now. So let's try to stay active with the Archon drop. I see still no 4th base, while my 3rd base is very happily mining right now, so I'm feeling confident. At this moment, I see a Hydra den, and I'm expecting a Roach Hydra push as of right now. I did see Lambo do that versus Cristiano the other day, when he was playing his group stage matches, that he tended to go for like a Roach Hydra push. So I immediately realized what's going to be happening, so I tried to go for Storm as quickly as possible, and try to prepare for this oncoming attack. It could be at my 3rd base, could be at my natural base, I'm not entirely sure. I will warp in a couple of high Templars. I'm missing a lot of gas, but I'm mining all of the gases from all of my 6 gases, so I'm just trying to gather as much as possible to warp in those high Templars, because I know Storm is going to be the most crucial part about defending this.
The enemy has discovered us.
And this is a first big mistake. Take a look at this. I actually want to go back a couple of seconds. Look at my vision. This is because this is what we're looking at right now. I'm looking at the Oracle. I'm looking at the Warpism. I see the Jester Roaches. I didn't notice this Hydralisk right there. I didn't notice it. I thought it's maybe just the one Hydra. So I fly in with, over with the Warpism just to see how many Roaches there are. I just didn't see the Hydra there. And I immediately go back to the Oracle, because the Oracle is under attack. I don't want to lose the Oracle. I want to use the Stasis Trap, Revelation, or something like that. And then I go back to the Warpism, and it's 3 Hydras, and I have 2 Archons here, and all the Warpism micro potential to defend this push. Right now, I'm just gasping. I'm like, oh my god, this is a huge mistake. This should not have ever happened, and this is my downfall, really, in game number 1. Because right now, I'm lacking the Archons to clear up potential Zerglings and, just tanking with the shield battery. And especially the Warpism to micro my Immortals. I lost like half of my most important army in the defense of a push that I know is coming. Another big thing right now, take a look at the Storm. Storm is 73 out of 79. And like I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, Storm is going to be one of the most crucial parts about defending this Roach Hydra attack, which I knew was coming. But what Lambo does, he comes in with an Overseer and contaminates the Storm 4 seconds. 4 freaking seconds before the Storm is over. Take a look at the fight. If I have Storm right here. 4 seconds. So the 4-second Storm is done right here. If there's no contaminate. You know what happens to the Zerg army if I actually storm this right now? I storm this part. I storm this part. It just completely evaporates. Right now, he's all clamped up. If I have Storm, I storm this, and this is an easy defense. But he contaminated the Storm right before it was finished. And yeah, that's the secondary most crucial part about this match right here. I try to micro my Immortals to the best of my abilities. But now lacking the Warpism to micro a bit is a big deal. I also noticed that I have a lot of Chrono Boost saved up on my main Nexus. Actually 200 out of 200. And I could have probably Chrono Boosted out all of my gateways, but I lost the Cybernetics core. Zealots are not necessarily the best unit to create in this situation, because, well, they'll just kind of like charge forward and die to the DPS of the Roach Hydras. So I kind of want Stalkers or Templars. I wanted to have as much Storm as possible. But, of course, these high Templars are just being warped in. I have additional Warpism. There's the first Storm, finally finishes, but Lambo already got the position and the amount of units necessary to break through this. And slowly but steadily, Lambo is going to push forward. And despite my most effort to micro my Immortals, I'm going to be losing game number 1 to this Roach Hydra push. As I'm losing a lot of my economy. Good Storms. I clean up the army eventually. but I know the supply is very much so in favor of the Zerg player. I did survive with like 4 Immortals and 3 Archons. I have no Storm and no War Prism to reinforce in, but I knew like the only chance I have at winning this game is to, just go. Just go, take everything that I have and possibly go. But Lambo nicely counterattacks with the roaches, snipes one of the Archons that is being morphed. By the way, morphing Archons cannot be healed by a shield battery, so it buys Lambo a little bit more time before the inevitable counterattack happens. I know he's counterattacking me here. I don't care about these roaches. I just want to go. I see like there's just a small amount of Zerg units here. Maybe there's possible to do, but I like what Lambo is doing right here. He's like dragging my army down to the south to make sure that he's buying as much time to rebuild his army. Look at this. He's moving down to like bait me. Go there. Follow me. Follow this army, right? But I don't take the bait. I go to upwards. I try to kill as many units as possible. And I kill a bunch of units. I see maybe there's hope. If I had a War Prism here to reinforce, maybe it would be possible. Like my army is pretty strong right here. And I keep killing almost 3 units. I see that I have a decent push right there. A couple of zealots come from the north side, but there's the reinforcement coming from Lambo. Too many Hydras, too many Roaches. All of my Archons and Immortals die. And I lose the game number 1 right here after a close haul. So big mistakes from this part was forgetting the 4th gateway. Well, it's not necessarily forgetting about the 4th gateway, but making a pylon in my wall-off because it was supposed to be a secondary gateway. So messing up my wall-off, instead of getting a second gateway, I got a pylon. That delayed my Archon drop. Secondary, losing the War Prism here in the middle of the map to the couple of Hydras while I was microing my Oracle. Biggest mistake of this game. And then the crucial good play by Lambo because he understands that the storm timing is there, but he couldn't know how close it is, of course. But still a very nice timing with the Overseer to delay my storm, and this is how I lost game number 1. I felt a bit uneasy because I think that game was looking good for me. The beginning was looking okay despite a couple of mistakes here and there, but it did look holdable. I immediately identified there is a Roach Hydra attack coming. I thought I will have enough to prepare for this, but losing the War Prism with the Archons was not good enough. So after game number 1, we went into Golden Aura. I'm down to in the series 0-1. After a game that I thought is holdable. I did feel a bit uneasy about it, but I tried to shake it off. I didn't try to look too much into that game because it was my mistake that kind of cost me this. I wanted to try to fix those mistakes in the next set of games. We were playing on Golden Aura, which was my map pick here, and I think Golden Aura is a very good Protoss versus Zerg map, and as long as I can survive long enough, I feel confident that I can win on this map because it is kind of like Protoss favorite, or at least it does feel comfortable to play as a Protoss. In this game, I didn't want to switch up too much. I did feel comfortable in my own standard play, playing with Oracle into Blink and +1 attack. I just wanted to make sure that I do it properly. But in this game, also, I will be making some slight mistakes, or maybe it was Lambo playing well and, using his own preparation versus me. I'm scouting with the first Adept, going into an Oracle behind this. Trying to find any kind of drone damage here, maybe a Zergling, a Cryptom, or anything that I can do would be pretty nice with me. I see that his queen is out of position, so I cancel the shade and try to go for a drone kill. Link's are also out of position. He's already pulling drones, which is a good thing for me. I get 1 drone. I do get a secondary drone. I do lose an Adept for this, but losing 1 Adept for this is really not that bad because I killed 2 drones. And I also got a small drone pull, but this was a small mistake by me to get some damage on that Adept. I did kill some of the HP on the Zerglings, but Lambo is able to hunt down the secondary Adept. And now I am in a bit of trouble. And what I should have done is probably not fly out with this Oracle. Because right now, now that I'm looking at this replay, I did kill a couple of drones. I forced out a lot of the links. If I take a look at the income, I already am up a couple of workers. And now there's a decision to be made. Do I fly out with this Oracle, try to maybe get 2, 3, 4 drones, like in game number 1's the Oracle, but then I have absolutely no defense to take my 3rd base. I lost 2 Adepts already. I only have 1 Adept to defend my wall off, so there's no way that I can take my 3rd base, Nexus, because I know there's like 10, 14 Zerglings out on the map, and I make a mistake about a poor decision basically, and I fly out with the Oracle, knowing very well that there are many links here, and I cannot take a 3rd base, which also delays. Lambo very smartly knows that he's killed these 2 Adepts, so he's going to break through my wall off. I try to shade the Adept back, but it barely doesn't survive. But at least with the Oracle, I get a couple of drones. But I actually don't get a couple of drones. I misclicked there. I got 1 drone and 2 drones at half HP. And not only I lose the Adept, my third base is delayed. I also lose the gateway and the Adept holding the wall. And I also didn't deal that much damage with the Oracle. So it was a poor judgment by me to fly out with the first Oracle. Because I also lost just so much more money. If you take a look at the resources lot, Zerg is now already ahead. I was not supposed to lose a gateway, that's for sure. So I was feeling a bit uneasy as of this moment. Also, my Twilight Council and Fort is quite late. My gases in the natural are quite late. It should be already done. My third base should be like halfway done or even quite close to being done as of this moment. And this game is not looking too pretty for me. And I'm starting to feel a bit more uneasy. This is looking good though for me. I kill 5 drones with a double Oracle. I barely lose any HP. That felt pretty nice. I also get the blink and +1 in the meantime. And I felt that maybe there's some hope in this game, but still I am not happy with the position that I'm currently in. I didn't really have a game plan as of this moment. I rarely was in a position where I got my third base and, you know, my gateway killed so early into the game. I didn't really know exactly what to do. I just was trying to follow the standard procedure of getting some Blink Stalkers, getting into Storm, a 4th base, you know, just try to move on with the standard Protoss versus Zerg. This was actually very annoying. I tried to warp in a Stalker to block these Zerglings, but again, I'm taking unnecessary damage, where 4 links are killing lots of my probes and just delaying my my third base mining. But at least in the meantime, as Lambo is microing his Zerglings, he was not paying attention to his main base, and with the Oracles, I get to do at least some counter damage with the Oracle. So as of right now, I did kill 12 drones in total in this game, which was not so bad for me. But still, I didn't feel very comfortable in this position, because I know that the damage that I'm dealing right now would have been more useful if I did it either earlier or I was not delayed with my third base. So despite killing 12 drones, I don't think I'm ahead in this game, but at least I know that I did some counter damage to my opponent while I was being slowed down myself. I'm going for relatively quickly Templar Archives, going for 6 gateways, just to keep myself safe. And I'm trying to push out on the map soon with the Blink Stalkers to either clear creep, get some value of the Blink Stalkers, of the mobility of my army. I only have 2 Oracles, they don't have that much energy, but they have enough to defend my my Stalkers or even throw down a Stasis Ward if necessary. I'm warping in a couple of Zealots to go for the 4th base, because I know Lambo will be trying to cancel that, so I'm trying to defend my 4th base. I don't want it to get delayed more like my 3rd base got delayed, but Lambo in the meantime got a probe at my 4th base with the Zerglings. And that 4th base is being delayed. The Blink Stalkers, I'm finding some value. I have a Warp Wizard here. I also wanted to make sure that Lambo is maybe like scared of a full-on attack of like 8 gateways or something like that. I don't think he spotted a Temparcus or my Templars at the 3rd base. And right now you can see in the production tab, Lambo is, I'm not sure if he's panicking or something, but he's producing a lot of his units, which was kind of my intention, to stop him from droning and getting a faster 5th base, hive or anything like that, to force him into making units, because I'm confident that I can defend this kind of attack with Storm and the map layout that there is. However, I'm heavily supplied block at 109 and 109 right now. My 4th base is on the way. I did some damage with the Stalker, but now I see this big clump of Zerglings, and I know I cannot defend this 4th base. I should not be on the other side of the map with all of my Stalkers, because Zerglings are super quick, and it's a big mistake on my side to let this 4th base get cancelled pretty much for the 2nd time. It's the first time I'm cancelling the Nexus, but the first time the Zerglings killed my probe, which also delayed my 4th base. Now, I don't know what Lambo is doing on the other side of the map. I'm so focused on my side right now that I didn't know if he's going for a Hive, a Roach Hydra push, Swarm Host, whatever. I have no clue what exactly he's doing. But I see Roaches and I see Hydras, and I get flashbacks from game number 1, where probably this kind of push is coming. So I'm trying to set up some cannons, some batteries. I have High Templars in my War Prison. I'm using the fact that Zerg doesn't see High Templars, so I'm dropping the High Templars from the War Prison to get some good storms. Lambo has no idea of knowing how many storms I have or how many High Templars I have, so at least I'm using this as a surprise element. Couple of very good storms right there on the Zerg army, and I'm saving all of the High Templars. I have a shield battery, I have a shit ton of Stalkers right here, but the Zerg army is really not that small, so I'm trying to get all of my reinforcements, trying to get into a good position to defend this push. At least this time I do have Storm, on the contrary to the previous game, but I don't have the 5-6 Immortals. Stalkers are okay versus Roach Hydra, but it's kind of like an even fight versus the Zerg player. But at least I have a very good position, where I have a higher concave than my opponent, and of course the use of the Storm. It's basically a micro battle right here. I'm very happy to see Lambo trying to push through this small choke. I have a cannon there, gateways to block. That also gives me enough time to get more high Templar energy, and I'm dropping some pretty good storms right here. But actually something that I noticed, Pig said during the commentary, that I've been dropping these high Templars. The storms were good, but I kept losing the high Templars as I was dropping them, and I think it's a valid point, because I should not be losing these high Templars at the... Like, I use these high Templars to have good storms, but I also could be, you know, already at this moment walk with these high Templars to not lose them, to not have to rebuild them and gather maybe energy, maybe get an Archon or something like that. Maybe that's a valid point. I should be more careful with that. But I also wanted to make sure that Zerg is, you know, clamping up his units as much as possible, so then the storm is more effective, because right now Lambo doesn't know if I have high Templars right here, so he's clamping up his army yet again, and I'm going for very aggressive storms, 3 storms, but I also lose all of my high Templars for that. If I take a look at the resources lost, it's really not that bad for me. I'm feeling confident in this hold right now, but a mistake that I did during this hold, that I realized way too late, is I kind of like, I put all of my defense, all of my thoughts into the defense, and I forgot to probe up during this. I pretty much didn't probe at all for like the past 2 minutes, because I was only focused on the defense. But I defended quite nicely. I'm feeling confident enough to send a counter-attack at the 12 o'clock with the Zealots. I'm pushing forward with the High Templars, doing some storms, not the best storms right there. I'm also losing the High Templars and the Archons, but the entire Zerg army is heavily bruised. I'm already at +2 attack. I have a lot of gateways, lots of Stalkers already survived, and I have a reinforcing War Prism. I see that the entire Zerg army is bruised, so I try to flank it from the top, from the bottom, and the Zerg army is just disappearing right now. I think this is my moment to push, because Lambo's reinforcements are not going to be coming at all, right? At once, because he's spread out between all the bases. His main army got cleared up. So I go for the all-in, basically. I just F2 forward, grab everything that I have right now, try to macro as much as possible, go for another Zealot flank to the top. Even though the supply is kind of close, it's all in production for Lambo, while it's already fighting for me. So with the constant reinforcements right here with the War Prism, I'm able to push through the reinforcements of Lambo, and with a great counter-attack right that, I'm going to win game number 2, and it's 1-1 versus Lambo on Golden Aura, and I felt that this was a pretty comfortable game for me, despite being behind in the early game, because of the delayed third base, lack of damage, right? I also lost the gateway, a couple of props at the third base. I thought that at this point, I have a chance in this series. Now game number 3 will be on Oceanborn. Again, very standard openings. I block his hatchery, he goes for the third base, I go for Adept into an Oracle. Pretty standard stuff, but at this moment, what I was trying to focus on is, I was just talking to myself, don't mess this up, just play well, focus on the macro, you can do it. Your opponent is also making some mistakes. I could feel that Lambo is also stressed in this series, or I'm not sure if he really was, but the way that I felt in the game is that he was also stressed. He was making some micro mistakes, like clamping up his entire army versus storms. So I thought maybe I got him. I was also very stressed. I was making some mistakes myself, but at least I felt that I do have a chance. I do have an actual fighting chance to win this series. I was trying to buy as much time as I can with this probe to get the Adept, kill some Zerglings, but Lambo killed the probe before the Adept got to arrive, and I also lost the probe pretty much for nothing. Once again, I'm opening up with an Oracle first. A lot of the time in my PvZs in the past, I've been opening up with a Void Ray first, and even in tournament matches as well. And I know I also played versus Lambo on the ladder many times, and I just wanted to mix it up. I don't want to go for the Void Ray first. I wanted to go for the Oracle to maybe surprise him, and it worked out pretty much in almost all of the games, right? I got a couple of drone kills right there and then, but this was a very good shade actually, because I shaded. Let me just go back a little bit here. I wanted to talk about it because I shaded the Adepts, and I wanted to trade for these for the drones, right? Couple of Adepts into the drones. And what I notice is when I shade from this position right here, you can actually go into this position between the middles and the gas, and it's very hard for the Zerg to clear up. Look how this Adept is blocking the Zerglings and the Queens, and I can freely kill some of the drones for free, while they have very little surface area to kill these Adepts. So Lambo is forced to pull all of his drones back, and he's losing a lot of mining time here. So we kill a couple of drones. I know this Adept is about to die. I killed actually one drone. I thought I killed maybe 2 or 3 there. But the most important part was the big probe pull. Now, I know I don't want to do the same mistake I did in game number 1. So this time I started my third base a little bit faster to make sure that my Nexus actually has enough HP for Lambo not to cancel it with the bunch of Zerglings. I chrono boosted out my Oracles as well, so I know, on the contrary to the previous game, I will not get my third base cancelled for such a long time. The secondary Oracle is gonna be there on time to defend the Nexus. He almost gets a pylon, but I drive the Zerglings away with the Oracle. And this time my Twilight Constant Fort is far faster than in the previous game, 30 seconds faster. My third base is halfway done, so I'm quite okay with the beginning that I have right now. I did lose both of these Adepts, but I'm not feeling super bad about it. I also get an Overlord here with the Stalker here, and we continue to the standard PvZ. My focus right now was trying to macro up. I once again didn't have a clear plan of what I want to do right here. I was a bit afraid of a potential Queen walk. I know a lot of Zergs really like to do Queen pushes with Dropper Lords, you know, like Queen Road Ravager Zerglings at the third base, because it's hard to defend the third base here. On Oceanborn, there's like a very open area. I was a bit afraid of that, but yeah, like I was just afraid of that, I guess. I see Lambo is constantly scouting. He sees with the Zerglings that I have no props at the third base. So I was thinking like, maybe he thinks I'm all-inning or something, but now he goes for a secondary scout in just a moment. Like he'll see the probes at the third base, so I know I'm not going to be forcing any kind of units or something like that. So I just decided to chrono boost them up by probes, try to scout as much as possible with these oracles. I see an early fourth base here for Lambo, and I see we're probably going for a standard game. I see a lot of queens here, no gases taken at the third base. Try to scout a little bit more. I see a couple of these Zerglings, and yeah, I'm just trying to send up a battery just in case there's an attack coming to make sure that I'm safe. I'm going for 4 gateways into a robotics facility this time. Bunch of Zerglings attacking my third base. I'm not too worried about it. I'm trying to save energy on this Oracle, but I see he's kind of committed for the pylon. I warp in a unit in the in the gateway, and I made this on purpose. I warped in a Zealot on purpose because I do have a couple of timings where I go with Blink Stalkers or with Charge. And I wanted to confuse Lambo to make sure that he has to check what kind of unit that is. You could see that he actually came back with the Zerglings for a brief moment. I will just rewind a bit, just to make sure that he clicks on the unit what I'm making right here. So he goes into the Zerglings. I deliberately warp in a Zealot right here. He doesn't click on it, and now he goes back to the Zerglings right now, just to check what kind of unit I'm warping in here. A cute little mind game between two pro players right there. Yeah, the game just kind of normalized here. Once again, I'm not exactly sure what he's doing. I'm not sure about my position. I'm not feeling too bad about it, but I don't feel super happy about it as well. I just feel like this is the standard Protoss versus Zerg, and we'll have to see that if there's any kind of timing that I can do, or if we're going into the potential late game. As my blink finishes and +1 finishes, I add additional gateways as well, checking the fourth base using the revelation to see the exact drone count. I see a couple of drones only at the fourth base, so I'm not sure if Lambo is supposed to have more drones or less drones at the moment. I felt a bit uneasy, thinking that there's this possible a fake fourth base where he's going for an actual Road Ravager push. But I'm trying to take a fourth base in the meantime. I already have 8 gateways on the way, so even if this is a Roach push, I think I should be able to defend this. I already have everything set up to defend this, possibly. With the 3 oracles as well, I should have a couple of stasis swords, so that's what I'm doing right now. Preparing my potential defenses, doing some stasis swords and batteries at the third base. Taking a fourth base just in case there's no Road Ravager push. Temp Archives about to finish as well. And I'll be going for a Storm. Trying to walk out on the map, clear up some of the spotter Zerglings, and get some value with the blink. Chrono boosting Storm immediately to make sure that I don't get it contaminated like I did in game number 1. I think I did a pretty poor job of scouting with my oracles. Now that I'm looking at my vision, I could have been a bit more active right now, but I think I was feeling so stressed that I just was so focused on my side of things that I forgot to scout a bit more. I'm kind of in the dark all this time. I could be scouting a bit more with these oracles. But I'm feeling okay. I see there's a 5th base by Lambo. I have plenty of energy on these oracles, so I decide to activate them. I kill the 4th base, the 5th base, and I also kill the drone in there. So that's also a nice delay from my side, as my 4th base is about to finish. And I see no delay from Lambo really here. I see a big swell of roaches and links, but he doesn't feel committed. by Lambo. I see a couple of roaches here in the middle of the map. I decide to warp in some units. I'm not sure if this is a committed attack or something, but I'm trying to gather all of my forces, throw down more stasis wards, just in case this is like a Roach, Ravager, Link, Bane all in. Because once again, I'm kind of being in the dark. Even though I have the tools to scout, I'm not scouting that much with these oracles. I'm just too focused on the macro side of things. That's a mistake on my part. I do have a set counterattack with the Zealot to see if he took the other 5th base. Just keep him busy a bit. As I see no attack coming to my side, I'm trying to move out with the Blink Stalkers, try to find some value while going into the secondary fort, double robo. I see the 5th base is only halfway done. Maybe there's a potential for me to cancel this. I set up a stasis ward to prevent the flank on the Stalkers. I see a couple of roaches and Hydra, so okay, let's just try to snipe a couple of units here. I desperately try to go for the hatchery there. It's a risky call, but I actually do get a cancel with the last shot of the Stalkers, and I'm trying to retreat as much as possible. As Lambo's chasing these Stalkers, I'm like, okay, please, let me run. Let me run. I blink away. I only lose 1 Stalker here for a Roach, Hydra, and a cancel on the 5th base. Not bad. I also survived long enough to have 6 high tempers with Storm, double forts, double robo on the way. I think I'm cooking. Like, this is looking good for me. I wasn't slowed down at all, just like I was in the previous games. So maybe it's time for me to move out on the map, because I know Lambo is going to go for Lurkers as of right now. So I do Revelation on these Roaches and Ravagers, and look at this. I see the Lurkers morphing. I don't know how close they are to being morphed, but I'm like, F it. I'm already here with my main army. Lurkers are not done. This is not a scary army. F it. Let's go. I have 6 high tempers with Storm. Whatever happens, happens. Let's go. So I blink forward, snipe the Lurker. I see him cancelling the Hydras. By the way, these are freaking fantastic force fields. And I see Lambo commit to the fight. I storm his entire army. I'm like, oh shit, here we go. Let's fight. But in the meantime, he's actually dropping me in the natural, and I see this Lurker drop. Now, I have a decision to make. The fight is happening in the middle of the map. I have all of my detection right here. I have a good push. I cleared up his entire army. I have... do I have a Warpism here? I don't have it yet. And I have no detection here. I'm making a Warpism. So I have no detection to clear up this drop. So I'm basically like, screw it, all in, we're going for it. I also saw a game, I think between Lambo and I think it was Harstem, on this map specifically, where Lambo was getting caught as he was morphing his Lurker. So I'm thinking, this is a very similar scenario. So I'm just trying to go for it, you know? I don't care about the drop. I know it's going to deal a lot of damage to me, but I think my push is far more important, because without Lurkers, it's very hard for Zerg to trade against Immortals, Storm, and Stalkers. So I just go for the throat, basically. Lots of army is getting killed as they are reinforcing. But Lambo is microing his army quite nicely, just dragging me away. My army is getting split up. I'm trying to get it together, but it's very hard in this chaotic scenario because I'm being attacked on the other side of the map as well. I know I have to make this push work. I have a Warpism here. I think there's no more reinforcement. I just got fresh new reinforcement from the Warpism. I think this is it. The push is actually working. I still have 4 Immortals here. I didn't kill any of the expansions, so I'm still a bit afraid that he's going to clear this up with more reinforcements. But now I see the drones being pulled. I see no more reinforcements. GG gets called and I actually win 2-1 with this snap-second decision of just going for it the moment I see Lurkers being morphed. I was very fortunate to catch him off guard right there, as I also moved out to the middle of the map with my entire army. The Lurker drop I was not expecting whatsoever, caught me off guard very, very much, and I was forced to all in after that because I knew it would deal too much damage to me. But it was the right call to go for the full-on attack, and we win game number 3, and we're up 2-1 in the series, just 1 map away from winning the series for the first time in a year. So we move on to game number 4 on Alcyone, and this is a bit of a tricky map, and I was already feeling it, you know, like I was feeling excited about potentially winning this series, because I'm feeling I have the upper hand. I feel like things are working out for me. Even though I'm not playing perfectly, I'm still winning. So I'm feeling good about this series. But this is a bit of a tricky map. I think a lot of Zergs don't really like this map, but I'm not really sure how to play this map properly as well. So I'm trying to go back to the roots. And on this map, I had planned the Archon drop just like I did in game number 1. Because on this map, you can actually freely fly around the left side of the map with your Warpism without being touched with Queens, Links or whatever, unless the Zerg obviously opens up the minerals here at the bottom left on his side of the map. So I was trying to go for the Archon drop, but this time I was trying to make sure that I don't mess up the build very much so with the fourth gateway. Once again, I'm going for the Adept harassment. I see the drone pool, even a double drone pull. So I was thinking, okay, this is not, you know, the greatest damage that you can do with the Adept, but any damage that I can do to make sure that the Lambo is a bit, you know, confused, clicks too many times or something, maybe delays his additional drone by 2 seconds, it's a good win for me. As in the meantime, I'm going for the Oracle, secondary gateway, robotics facility, and one thing that I noticed Lambo do, actually, is that he flies out with the Overlord the moment he sees 2 Chrono Boost on the gateway and sees like 2 Adepts. I was actually hiding the Stalker because I knew he had an Overlord here, checking for the Chrono Boost, and I look at the rally. I actually rallied the Stalker right there, hiding this Stalker, wait for this Overlord to show, because I know he's going to be trying to scout what I'm doing in this match, and that way, the moment the Overlord shows, I'm showing up my Stalker to try to kill this Overlord. In the retrospect, I think I showed the Stalker a little bit too early, but I didn't want him to commit to the main base with the Overlord and see the robotics facility early, because then I think he would potentially realize, you know, connect the dots and think that this is an Archon drop. I wanted to keep him in the dark as much as possible, and I don't kill the Overlord here immediately, and I have to actually use the Oracle. I was meant to remain, it was meant to remain hidden and kill some drones with it, but I thought that maybe killing the Overlord is more important in this stage of the game, so to deny scouting of Lambo as much as possible. So I revealed the Oracle. It was a good plan, but it wasn't not perfectly executed, and Lambo loses the Overlord. And the Oracle on the other side of the map try to deal some damage. So it still arrives early enough before the Spore arrives. I kill 1 drone, 2 drones, and I run away, similar to game number 1. Couple of damage, like a little bit of damage done on the Oracle. Not the greatest harassment, but good enough. Drone pull, 2 drones, Spore. That's a good damage for 1 Oracle. This time I did not forget about the gateways, by the way. I actually do have 4 gateways on the dot. The timing is looking good. I don't have this build fully mapped out yet. And when I was watching the VOD, I was actually noticing, I think Pig mentioned that as well. I did stop probing at some point, and I definitely could have been probing a bit more with this build, especially right now. This is like a controlled supply block that I have right now, but I should be probing behind this, and I wasn't sure as well if I will have enough time, money for a Nexus, for the High Templars and the probes at the same time, so I decided to cut probes in favor of the Warpen of High Templars. So I fly out with the Warpism, look at the timing, 4 gates finish, Warpism on the other side of the map. I wonder if he saw that, because when I was playing this, I saw the Overlord here, and I saw that he saw the Warpism. I think he saw that. Yeah, look at this. His camera is actually right there. So he spotted the Warpism. A bit unfortunate by me to show the Warpism to the Overlord, but also nice Overlord spread by Lambo. So I warp in the 4 High Templars, and we go for the Archon drop. In the meantime, I'm using the Oracle to block the potential 4th bases of Lambo. So I plant down a Stasis Ward here, and I will plant down the Stasis Ward here to block the 4th base from him, while I'm going to be doing Archon harassment, which is a pretty good plan. I didn't do that before, and I just figured out, you know, on the fly during the tournament match, and things were looking promising for me. Now, because Lambo spotted the Warpism, he was actually prepared for this harassment. He has already Queens and Zerglings here, but it's not that much. So I try to do the power of micro here with the Warpism and the Archons. I get 1 Queen, which gets blocked. I kill a couple of Zerglings right there. I target fire another Queen, and I get 2 Queens, couple of Zerglings, pretty much for free. My Warpism is a bit damaged. The Archons, of course, do get damaged as well, but I don't lose anything significant. And I see there's still no 4th base for Lambo. So I'm feeling quite happy about it. I'm immediately going for the 4th base, doing more Archon harassment. But once again, this is a very active build order that I'm going for. Lots of Archon harassment, and I'm supply blocked. I'm supply blocked yet again, and I get supply blocked very, very often in my games because I'm so focused on the harassment, I just forget about my macro. This is something I definitely need to improve on, I think. But I'm feeling good about this. I see the drone is in the stasis, so I'm trying to wait for the stasis to run out. I'm gonna kill the drone with the Oracle. There's even further delay on the 4th base. So this is looking very good for me. The 4th base is so delayed for the Zerg. I'm clearing the creep, I'm feeling it. I'm like, this game is going super well for me. I come here to deny the 4th base yet again, but Lambo is protecting the drone. I'm trying to walk up with the Archons to kill the drone, to target fire it. But nice protection there by Lambo. I use the healthy Archon to snipe the drone, and I pick it up, and the fourth base is delayed even more. So it's like a 2-minute delay on the fourth base. In the meantime, Lambo is actually going for Swarm Host and Roaches. I'm trying to kill the drone again to delay the fourth base with the Oracle, but I don't have enough energy to kill it, so the fourth base finally goes down. At this point, I didn't know if it's Swarm Host or not. Theoretically, my build, I would say, is very good versus Swarm Host. I would feel comfortable with it, but I didn't scout enough with this. I was so focused on delaying the fourth base that I forgot to scout what actually Lambo is doing, you know? Maybe I was too focused on the potential Roach Hydra like he did every single game. He never played Swarm Host before, right? I hear the Nidus, I'm like, oh my god, not like this. I recall the War Prism. I don't know exactly where the Nidus is, but you can kind of like locate the Nidus by the Scream, like where the Scream is coming from. So I thought it's going to be either the main base or the natural base, so I tried to position my units properly. I see the Locust here, but I have High Templars with Storm here. Perfect storms. I cleared the first wave, and I'm like cooking here. I'm like, holy shit, that was way too easy. But I hear Niduses screaming all over the map. And I know this is still a long way to go. Look at this, I'm supply back at 125 out of 125. No pilots on site. I'm starting to lose my advantage on this map. Because I'm so focused right now to defend the Locust and Niduses everywhere. I'm actually not making pilots, I'm not making probes, no more army. I'm in a deep trouble right now if I cannot defend the next Locust wave. I kill a couple of the Niduses, I'm thinking I'm good. But this next Locust wave, I know it's coming, but I don't know where it's going to be coming from. And there's the Locust wave, I didn't see this Nidus before. So he flies in with lots of Locusts, I have nothing to defend this with. I see that so many Locusts, by the way, so again, might as well lose the Nexus. I'm using the battery overcharge to defend the Nexus. In the meantime, the Oracle was harassing the fourth base, but the Nexus goes down despite the battery overcharge. I lose some probes, and I'm like, holy crap, all the advantage that I had in this game is just disappearing because of the lack of multitasking that I had in this game. I just got caught off guard with the secondary wave of Locusts. I wanted to take the fourth base, but there's creep there. I cannot get it. More Niduses are popping up. I'm again heavily supply booked for like the past minute. I lose 3 High Templars here in the middle of the map for nothing, basically. And Storm is essential in defending the Swarm Host Locusts. This is not looking good for me, and I'm just starting to feel very, very stressed that I'm throwing away the big advantage that I thought I had in this game. At least this time I see Lambo is attacking me at the front, so I am heavily defending this without any losses, but I still don't have a fourth base. It's 10 minutes into the game, and I'm not feeling comfortable. I'm not feeling comfortable here, but at least I have lots of High Templars, lots of Immortals and Archons. I see that this counterattack with the Zealots is working quite nicely. I see the Hydra, so I'm expecting a Lurker transition, and I'm thinking, okay, this is the moment for me to go. The moment that I see these Hydra discs, I know that Lambo is trying to transition into the Lurkers and the Hive. I don't have a fourth base, I cannot play macro. The Swarm Hosts are still around, there's plenty of Niduses around the map. My decision is to take everything that I have and go. Because Lambo just used his entire Swarm Host wave here. I defended it, so at least I have some time before the next wave comes. So I use this time to go across the map and see what happens. I still have plenty of Storm, +2 attack about to finish. And see what happens. My army is looking strong. I know my army is looking strong. The Void sees the Swarm Host on the top side. So I know I'm not gonna be flanked right here with the Swarm Host. I open some Archons, more Zealots. Trying to go for the fourth base, but I'm like, going up the ramp, maybe not the best idea. Let's just go through the front. I have plenty of Storms here. My army is looking strong. I see no Lurkers yet, only a Roach Hydra army. My army is looking strong. Okay, let's give it a try. I see Swarm Host going back, trying to split the Immortals to the right side, while the Zealots going to the left side, because I know I cannot fight the Zealots with, against the Roach Hydra army, because they're gonna just disappear. So I'm using Storms to zone the Zerg army as much as possible, while the Zealots are clearing out the entire Natural right here and killing a lot of the Swarm Host. More Storms on the main army of Lambo. I'm like, okay, this might work, this might work, this might work. But I don't want to get too carried away because I know how easy it is to throw a situation like that. I still have a couple of Storms left. One thing that I did as well right here, I see that this High Templar still has Storm. I notice it, so I put it into the War Prism. And I force Lambo to clamp up his army because he's going to be eager to defend the Natural, right? So he's gonna clamp up his army yet again. So I put the high temper into the War Prism. The moment his army clamps up yet again, I do a nice storm, killing lots of units right there and damaging so much. I'm in the natural. I have a very good concave right here. This army is very unhealthy. And I think if only I can micro a little bit more, I save the Archon to get additional warping, I know I can do this. This is the final stand of Lambo, and I'm feeling it, super excited. And I get the GG with this one big push, similar to game number 2, just go for it, you know, do the most that I can do with my army before Lambo's transition is ready, and that wins me the game. And I win the series 3-1, advancing to the top 12 of Europe. I was very, very happy that I managed to beat Lambo. Once again, Lambo is a great player, probably stronger player than I am, but I'm happy to win this series. This series, I was the better player, and I finally managed to beat him. You know, that was not the greatest series by me. I made lots of mistakes. I think I was way too stressed in this series, but I think that also makes a series fascinating and exciting for people to watch, because they don't know what's gonna happen, and I don't know what's gonna happen as well. I just need to remain a bit more calm, I think, during my series, and if I don't get supply book that much and I focus a bit on the macro, I think I can become a better player. I've been practicing so much for this tournament. I've improved a lot, but there's still so much more to be done. Well, hope you guys enjoyed this analysis of my match versus Lambo. Let me know in the comment section how you enjoyed it, and cheer for me in the round of 12, where I'll be playing versus the loser of Spirit versus Showtime. Cheer for me there, and I'll see you next time. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.